kinds of brilliant minds. It can implement things that we have needed for a long time. It's fun, it's thrilling for me. Because it's like, I want it, you know? Like, I'm thinking, like, if I had this a year ago when I was doing the hyperbox and all that, I could have gotten that job done so much easier and done more, you know, and done more projects. And so I'm thinking in terms of that, and that's what gets me excited. It's enabling us. Like, I can't think of now going back and using 9.6 now that I have the VPR. And I understand the VPR is not perfect, and there are implementation limitations, as there were with F-Climb when it came out in version 1. But I think, you know, if you look at our version 1 of what VPR does, and you look at the implementation of the volumetrics and all that, it is like crazy what we were able to get implemented in that. And we haven't released it yet. We've already got tons of bug fixes and other enhancements that we've added since we've released 10. So the cycle was just, I mean, we don't stop. You know, we're not just sitting there going, oh, well, we released 10, we're going to twiddle our thumbs. We're having our development meetings, and we've already been fixing a lot of things already, enhancing the workflow for VPR specifically. So interface as well. If you open up 10 and you compare it to 9.6, just do that for me. Like, load up 10 and look at it next to 9.6. Because I love doing that, because there's a big difference, you know, in a little bit of time. One of the main things that, you know, I wanted us to be is kind of in that neutral palette that doesn't kind of throw your eye too much. If you have something that's too light or some color, you know, some stray colors in there, it colors your eye more than you realize. And there's a reason why most of the professional suites, when you're working with professional software and edit suites and all that, they all kind of have a similar color palette. It's because it's neutral and allows you to make great, especially when you're working with your color space. You know, there's a lot of enhancements here. Matt has been doing things to make things just read better. To, you know, I mean, he's very concerned with, like, even down to like little bevels and stuff. He's like all over that. You know, he's constantly trying to
counts pixels to make things.
In addition, you know, he's gone in and Bob has gone in and we have opened up a lot of the customizable color palette choices in LightWave 10 that were not even accessible to users before. So things that you couldn't even change the color on before, you can now change. Like one of them being the highlight color. Before, if you look back, that was like white. That's it. You didn't have a choice. So now you can go in and make that any color you want, your heart's content. You know, you didn't have access to that before. So we're trying, you know, we're getting into what was there and making it more customizable, even though we have already spent a lot of time trying to make it more, you know, attractive to use, what pleases the eye. Other things that are related to this, in addition to the color palette, are things like the snapshot feature that we talked about, the options panel for the VPR. Those have been combined, obviously, to the same panel now. This is an earlier version. Putting all the stuff one level down, adding a save all. How many times have you wanted to save all? Because that's how, when you're working with Maya, that's what it does. You save the scene, it saves the objects in the scene file too. In LightWave, you know, you kind of have to go back and do both of those. Save all now saves all objects and the scene file. It saves everything, so that you have the equivalent of what you would get in Maya with that. In addition, the export stuff is right there, one drop down. You don't have to go hunting and pecking for all that export. It's right, you know, in there. And that includes the, you know, the MD multi-baker, which, you know, you select multiple items and bake them all at once. It's really a cool workflow. A big change. In addition, the channel sliders and the timeline have been enhanced. This was something that I really wanted. Jamie, you remember this conversation. I know you do. We're sitting there in development, and I said, Jamie, can you do this? You know, if we have these envelopes and these little sliders next to the channels, you know, it would make it so much easier if we're noodling something. And she was like thinking about it for 10 seconds, you know, whatever. She goes, yeah, I can do that. I didn't even like assign it, but she went home.
Yeah.
We took like a break.
The problem with him is he asked me to do things, and when I do them, he's always surprised.
no, but like the thing is the speed. It's like, okay, this is something I've wanted for years. And she goes, yeah, I can do that. Take me And then so we come back from like lunch or something. She's already got it implemented. I'm like, what? And so we went to SIGGRAPH.
Yeah, the fog thing in perspective, that was another one I remember. Yeah. Said, can you do this? And
but I told her this, I said, Jamie, when we do this, if you implement this little feature here for character animators, it seems like a little nothing, it's not a big deal, but you will have so many people come up and shake your hand at SIGGRAPH. And what happened?
Yeah, people did, but you told them to.
My first interview at SIGGRAPH when I was doing stuff for 3D World, the editor-in-chief of 3D World Conf hugged me out of nowhere. I was like, what are you talking about? He goes, you put channel sliders in LightWave. I've been waiting for it. I was, you know, I mean, it's a really cool little feature.
Well, that's what happens when you have a user as your vice president.
Here's the thing. You go in there, you select an item right in the timeline where you're at, and you want to noodle and have like the hoof right on the ground, you can just easily go in there and noodle, you know, those settings without having to mess with anything. The envelope button has been put right there, so if you move through your timeline and you do that, it lays the keys down while you're making the little changes to the channel without having to leave and go into the graph editor and blah, blah, blah. It opens it all up right for you, right where you're working. So we have, I guess it's okay for me to announce this. I'm going to go ahead and do it again. Lino Grande has joined us officially. So you guys are the only ones that know that. It has not been announced, and please kind of keep it to yourself.
It'll be on the forum.
Please don't. Please don't. I'm so excited. I'm very excited about that because Lino is as passionate as I am and as you guys are about LightWave, and he is awesome.
And he sings really good too.
His karaoke rocks. But I'm really excited about that because the character animation tools, this was just, you know, while we were doing all this other stuff in the last 9 months, I was, you know, there's a few little things and refinements here that we were able to get into the character animation, but it wasn't the focus. And so with Lino coming on, and with me and him and, you know, all of our excitement working together, and we're really reaching out to our studios and to users and you guys, the push for character enhancements is going to be very important too. He's going to have a great influence on that. And I'm looking so much forward to that as part of our process. So, as I mentioned, LightWave 10 incorporates a lot of these new features based on core technology. If you look at the Valkyrie input, the VPR in LightWave and in Core is the same thing. So, ultimately, you're going to be modeling in VPR. Your interface is going to be VPR. I mean, that's the way it is. That's the way things have to move. So Core is also a new base architecture that incorporates industry standards like Python scripting, bullet dynamics, and cutting-edge interactive with VPR. The cool thing about Python scripting is that everything has moved to that. If you look at, you know, even places that had mail script and mail scripters on staff, they keep a couple of them around to just update the old stuff, but everything new in Maya is being done in Python. Motion Builder's Python. Houdini uses Python. I mean, Python is the thing. Yes, you should be learning Python. You see you shaking your head.
The only two main 3D applications not using Python at this time would be 3D Studio Max and main layout and modeler. But even then, I've been using Python and LightWave pipelines since 2005, 2006.
But Jen, you never know. Modeler and layout could get Python. You never know that. You might, you know, it might happen. I mean, I would say that, you know, it could happen.
Take that bet.
So, I mean, imagine Python and modeler and layout and core as we move forward, you know, with all of that interactivity and Python being able to be integrated into Maya tool sets and Motion Builder and all that, and the Python scripts and the scripting language. It's like all the cool stuff you can do with LScript, but you were only in LightWave land. Now your investment into Python will work in anything that you do, and all the people that are using those things will now see the benefits of LightWave because they'll be able to easily, it's the same language. It's brilliant. I love it. And that's really important for me to push that concept. The other thing is our core technology continues to evolve, and obviously there are a lot of questions about core. I mean, is anybody recording this? Because I want to say some stuff right now. I got to say it.
Yeah, we are.
Like, let's turn that recording off.
Oh,